Welcome one and all to our stream today. It is our very first attempt at this stream, and certainly not our second attempt after a failed internet connection prevented us from doing it the first time. Today, we are going to be playing some PvP in Pocket with decks of every type that you see on the screen here. We were going to do all 10 types, however, colorless and metal did not really seem to have enough to work with. But, as you can hear with our wonderful melody over in the background, it is time to get our groove on. And we'll be beginning with the grass type. Let's head over to the battlefield and see who our first peasant to fall to our might will be. Devouse, the level 14 Eevee. What will they be bringing? And can they defeat the power of the Venusaur EX, whose giant bloom attack will repeatedly heal our ally from all that ails it? And of course, immediately we see the screen disconnecting. Let's make sure it is functioning. Alright, and we are back. I misclicked on the Pokeball and instead wasted my X speed. We will soon find whether we shall live to regret it. We already have a Venusaur. All we need is to find an Ivy, and we'll be okay. Caterpie would be immensely helpful for our search, but with the X speed erroneously placed down, we are off to a bad start. The Mewtwo in the back is charging up. But fortunately for us, we have drawn into the other speeder, allowing our Bulbasaur to retreat for free. And with this, we shall begin our journey towards victory. An Ivysaur has appeared in our hand, allowing us to begin evolving our Bulbasaur into the mighty Venusaur. We do have some issues in that Psycho Drive, chained back to back, is more damage than our Venusaur can withstand. But will they be able to find a God of War in time? And will we be able to set up a consecutive Venusaur, providing another layer of protection? Evolving both Bulbasaur is the clear play. Then, with 6 cards in my opponent's hand, a red card shall cut them down to size. With this, our Caterpie is able to find the other Venusaur EX, and our setup is complete. All that remains is attaching the energy, and then it is our game. We see a speeder, and it looks like Mewtwo is going to be coming in to KO this Caterpie. Our Venusaur is yet to be prepared, but at this rate, if they were to KO a Venusaur EX out of this Caterpie, the game would be over. So, despite having both in hand, I'm thinking we cannot afford to actually press the button and evolve the active Ivysaur. Instead, it will serve as a valiant sacrifice to give us additional time for our Venusaur to charge up. Healing items are much appreciated. But for now, we have no choice but to end our turn. And as long as their final card is not a Sabrina, we are okay. The other Mewtwo is beginning to power up, and this is a bad sign. Sega Drive knocking out the Ivysaur, providing a room for our Venusaur to appear. 60 damage and 100 is more than enough to remove the Mewtwo EX from the equation, but how will we KO the remaining final point? If they bring in a Mewtwo, we could potentially force it out with a Sabrina, but with 110 HP, Gardevoir does survive the attack. And thanks to its own ability, retreating will be no problem for it. Unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be it for us. At least in the first game. Mewtwo set up just a little bit faster than we could respond to. Even if we toss all of our healing capabilities onto this Venusaur. Erica for 50. 2 potions for a total of 90. And then Giant Bloom. We have managed to recover 120 life. But even with this, Mewtwo EX is able to completely destroy our Venusaur on this turn. So we have no choice but to concede and give it another attempt. It appears our red card was unable to stop the opponent. But we will not let this deter us. We shall continue on and see if and when we manage to conquer. Opening with Bulbasaur yet again. I suppose Caterpie may be considered the superior option here, as getting the Bulbasaur out of the active slot requires an X speed, or wasting a turn of energy, and we find ourselves against another lightning-fast deck, the Pikachu EX. Will our Pokemon be able to weather the storm until we find the pieces we need? Caterpie appears, but remember, there is no energy being attached on the first turn. We must dig for a Bulbasaur and an Ivysaur, and it is exactly what we find. Now, Caterpie has already served its purpose, thinning the deck for our evolution lines. With this, I believe we are simply going to charge up the Bulbasaur on the bench. 90 damage from Pikachu is quite a lot. However, with our healing capabilities, it should be simple for our Venusaur to clean house once we are set up. All we need to do is wait. I end my turn. With 2 copies of Professor's Research, our hand is loaded. But a red card could come at any time. I had one of my own I was hoping to use on them, but after evolving the Magnemite and placing Pikachu down, it seems it may not be worth it. Bulbasaur has fallen, and we shall continue to send our pawns up to the front lines to be taken out by Pikachu. Let us lead our opponent into a false sense of security as we power up the indomitable Venusaur. I end my turn, and should they choose to foolishly defeat the Caterpie, our Venusaur shall come in and begin to clear their board, with Erica and Potion already in our hand. Pikachu poses no threat to us. Our major concern is a Hurricane Thunder, inflicting uncontrollable damage with repeated heads flips. But barring that, the Raichu with 140 from Thunderbolt could be an issue as well. Pikachu takes 60 damage, and it is likely to deal 90 in return, leaving us with just 100 life. However, with Erica and Potion, we will recover beyond the range of the opposing Raichu. And our Venusaur is able to score a KO in just one shot. No number of potions will be enough for them to stop us from defeating the Pikachu on the next turn. However, it seems they have chosen to retreat, unable to handle the might of the Venusaur. 20 damage is nothing. Watch as our Venusaur immediately brushes off these wounds. All they have done is delay the inevitable. I attack, and have no need to even use the healing provided in my hand. What are they plotting? Pokeball thinning the deck, but with a full bench, there is nothing they are trying to set up. Perhaps a Lieutenant Surge could cause a problem. We see the other X-Speed activate, allowing the Zapdos once again to retreat. And retreat it shall, as it is not but a pawn in their game. A completely useless piece on the board here. Magneton is active, but unable to do anything, as it requires 4 energy to attack. Our Venusaur wipes it out with tremendous precision. Had they simply attacked with the Pikachu and let it go down, they would have been in an okay position. But now, this Raichu is unpowered up and has no support from the Magneton. We see another Pikachu EX crawling onto the board, and Lieutenant Surge to allow Raichu to swing in with a Thunderbolt. But this shall not be enough to stop us. 140 damage leaves us with 50, and our hand has more healing than we could ever ask for. Potion number 1 and potion number 2. Now, we want to prevent the effects of a red card from causing us issue. So, shall we play all of the cards in our hand to reduce the odds of drawing into them should my opponent make a move? We still have 1 additional copy of Erica within our deck, and we are hoping to draw it in the near future to provide our Venusaur with even more life. Giant Bloom, knocking out Raichu, and bringing us up to a splendid 170. Pikachu EX, should it manage to attack twice, deals 180 damage, but that will not be enough once our second Giant Bloom resolves. HP is but all part of the plan. See, as we recover our strength beyond what Pikachu can inflict. Even if our opponent plays down the Sakaki for an additional 10 damage, our Venusaur shall persevere. And with this, their entire board is vulnerable to the Giant Bloom. They've seen their loss, but I can only blame them for not noticing that they were doomed several turns earlier. None shall stand in our way. And with that, it is time to show our next deck. It is time to bring forth the raging fire of Arcanine EX, our most powerful monster, shall be claiming victory and scorching all those who oppose us. Our opponent, a clear collector, and probably one who has spent some money on the game. However, with our powerful fire types behind us, we shall conquer. But first, we must conquer the music box, which has forsaken us. And it is back. Welcome, Heather. Unfortunately, Hyla has been trapped and banished in New Zealand, and I am here to destroy them. I have taken over. I would say this game is quite easy. The peons you fight in the PvP mode will not be able to stand up to even the most basic of strategies. Going first, we are unable to attach any energy cards, so we are forced to end. However, Moltres' Fire Dance shall attach up to 3 additional energies onto our Growlithe, immediately preparing our evolved form to go in with its most powerful attacks. Growlithe evolves into the Arcanine, and we have bird-on-bird violence. Will Zapdos be able to fight against the Moltres? Gyarados is a odd Pokemon in this game, as it requires 3 or 4 energy to use its attack. However, Dragonite, despite sharing this trait, is pretty good. Dragonite's Draco Meteor is a powerful skill, able to inflict 200 damage to the opponent's board. However, this comes with a caveat. The meteors that rain down upon your opponent are random, split into 4 key groups. Each meteor inflicts 50 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon, chosen at random. While it requires quite a bit of setup to get going, once powered up, Dragonite is certainly an unstoppable force. And perhaps we will show off Dragonite's power after this match, once our fire types reduce this Pikachu to cinders. We shall rise above the clouds and have our very own Dragonite take flight to destroy the next opponent. Unfortunately for us, there is no X speed in hand, forcing us to simply swing in with Moltres. As much as I would have loved to retreat here and KO'd that Pikachu, it will have to wait one additional turn. But fear not. Arcanine inflicts a mighty 120 damage. Poor Pikachu cannot survive even a single blow from the raging fire. Red card. Interestingly, all they've done here is help us, getting rid of those useless cards that provided no value in our hand. We already have an X speed to help us retreat alongside additional energy on our Arcanine. All we need to do now is find the other Growlithe, and our backup attacker will be ready to go. Watch as that Pikachu cowers in fear, running away from the cruel realities of the world. But Zapdos, it has 130 HP. Surely that will protect them. Incorrect, for in our hand is the powerful Giovanni Supporter card, allowing us to provide an additional 10 points of damage. No matter what they try to do, there is no escape from Arcanine's Fury Bite. Sakaki, show these fools what a true Pokemon looks like. A one-hit KO. And what will they be doing next? Pikachu returns, but with 130 hit points, that Pikachu has no hope of KOing our Arcanine. Then, another wild charge shall reduce their hopes and dreams to ash. We see once again another retreat into the Zapdos, but with a peck and our recoil. Sure, we might find ourselves at just 90 hit points, and at risk of a Circle Circuit, but it won't be for long, as Pikachu is unable to attack next turn. They were forced to spend their only energy, and with the Sakaki in our hand, it doesn't matter. See the opponent concede, trembling in the might of the fires of Arcanine's clutches. Now, next up will be the powerful Draco Meteor boosting Dragonite. I did arrange the music per deck. So, here comes the March of the Dragon. I will say, we are only running a singular copy of the evolution line, so we may find it a little bit difficult to locate. But once we do, we will be able to show off the power of the dragon. Once again, we are seizing the first move. And as you can see, two full art Snorlax make their appearance as our method of stalling for time with 150 hit points on a single prize Pokemon. This will give us plenty of turns to find our Dragonite. And already, Dratini appears. We will further supplement this with a professor's research, and the Dragonair has also decided to show its face. Our hand is at just 2 cards, preventing them from wanting to use a red card and allowing our Dragonair to remain safe. However, the opponent is powering up the dreaded Pikachu EX, trying to blast their way through my cute Snorlax's Lightning Energy equipped. And with that, we shall end. Snorlax is the ultimate wall. Even if they swing in with Pikachu, it shall take them 2 turns to do so. And then, once they do, there's another Snorlax waiting in the wings. 10 cards in deck. And 1 Dragonite we need to find. Will we do it? Only one way to find out. And the professor's research is a brilliant draw here, getting us through an additional 2 cards from our deck. And there it is, Kaiju in the flesh. Let's end turn here. And see what they have to do to this. Our Snorlax may fall, but that is a price I am willing to pay for victory. Snorlax, do your job. A 3rd energy onto the Dragonite, and we are getting ready for a clean victory here. Now, what if I were to play the Sabrina and force them to spend an additional energy? Or is it better to save it for later? No. I think disrupting them as soon as possible is the correct play. Making them waste even 1 additional energy attachment should work. Welcome, Rafflesia. The double Snorlax should serve me well. I agree. I'll end turn here. And will they choose to power up this Zapdos? Or will they instead opt for the Pikachu to gain additional energy? Or maybe even that Voltorb, knowing that should it evolve into Electrode, it has free retreat and can avoid the issues of the Dragonite. Snorlax is harmed. However, I do have a slight concern here. Should my opponent drop a Sabrina after I tediously bring in this Dragonite, our odds to win the game go down significantly. This Dratini may be a liability. Snorlax falls. And with 5 cards in their hand, a red card should increase our odds. All they need to do is miss a Sabrina. And with this hand scope, I shall observe if they have the winning card. They do not. 2 potions may be a bit of a concern though. So, what to do? I believe we simply bring the energy in and swing. The dragon types are indeed the newest type in the game, and we shall show the opponent their might. Pikachu EX down to just 20 health and no Sabrina in the opponent's hand to force in my Dratini. With 9 cards in their deck and only 1 drawn for turn, will they be able to stop me? The potions futilely attempt to come in. Little do they know, we already own the Sakaki. Now, the hand scope comes with 2 primary reasons to include it in your deck. The first, as you have just seen, is that it prevented me from using an erroneous choice in red card, preventing me from accidentally providing them with the value they seek. Apart from this, we also are able to include it simply to have another trainer card in the deck. In this game, you want to be running as few Pokemon as you can, and running the hand scope is one way to do so. Our Draco Meteor destroys this Pikachu, and a Voltorb alongside it. We win this game with 4 of the 3 needed points. Dragonite taking out the opponent incredibly simply and incredibly efficiently. We only declared 2 attacks in that entire game. Let us move on to the water type. And mark the dragons as a victory for us. It appears we have finally gained the blessings of the dice and will be going second. But after a couple of hot blood matches, it is time to cool down. And once again, we find ourselves face to face with a Pikachu. Pikachu, of course, is able to hit our poor Staryu for super effective damage. With a Giovanni in tow, they might even be able to KO our Starmie as early as their first attack. But we must believe in the power of Hidodemon, and if it is able to survive for just 1 turn, it can turn this all around. As Starmie inflicts a meteoric 90 damage for just 2 energy, matching the power of that dreadful Pikachu EX, a card we have not been unfortunate enough to pull. We need not these flashy cover cards to win a game, when we will rely on our own skill and knowledge. Articuno, added to hand. And our entire board is now here. Watch as Starmie's Hydro Splash wipes out Voltorb from the face of this game. A lone Pikachu, not even the EX form. A foolish mistake by Akira to simply not draw better. Have they considered this technique? We see an Electabuzz, and it is clear my opponent is trying to run some form of Lieutenant Surge deck. But all they will do is short circuit and bring upon their own downfall. And energy comes into play, but they know not to even bother with that Pikachu, sending it out as cannon fodder. How sad, how touching. Our Missy appears to have missed, but with our Legion of Starmie EX, no electric type shall stand in our way. Even if Electabuzz tries its best, with only 70 hit points, our Starmie in the reserves will come through and knock it out immediately. At this point, our opponent may as well give up. There is a 0% chance of us losing this battle. They begin to power up via Pikachu EX. But even though they are able to hold on for one additional turn, that Pikachu appears to be offering no damage. With only a singular bench Pokemon, Pikachu will only deal 30 damage, or 50 after weakness. As Rafflesia points out, there is one flaw in the Pikachu EX deck, and that is the need to run plenty of basic Pokemon cards that you would often be trying to avoid in any other deck in order to boost your own consistency. By powering up the Pikachu, you are giving up on vital supporter cards or trainers that will advance your game plan. My Starmie EX is able to deal 90 damage without any bench support at the cost of simply needing to evolve from Staryu. Much less deck space required. Our opponent finally realizes there is not they can do, and that is a victory for the Starmie. Next, perhaps with all of these Pikachu EX players swarming the ladder, it is time to show them what a real electric-type deck can do. As I've said, we may not own the Pikachu EX ourselves, but this Jolteon here is capable of inflicting up to 160 damage for just 2 energy. Let us bring it out and see if it and Electrode are able to take home a victory. Battle begin. The electric types are charging towards victory. We've loaded in, and it looks like they are also using the Eevee sleeves. We open with a Voltorb, with the Electrode also in hand, and our opponent reveals a Vulpix. This could be dangerous. Ninetales deals 90 damage for 2 energy, much like a Starmie EX. However, as we are the ones going first, they will not be able to perform the attack before we get the chance to evolve and inflict some major damage with our Martyr. We've drawn yet another card, but despite all these items and supporter cards, I see no need to play any of them at all. Tackle that Vulpix and bring its health down to 30. Even if my opponent chooses to evolve that Vulpix this turn, nothing will come of it. Tail Whip. Will they be able to prevent our Pokemon from attacking next turn? It appears not. And this is quite an interesting situation. I could attack with this Voltorb without evolving, with the use of Sakaki. However, I'd rather try to save it for when that Magmar comes in, as our attack currently only deals 70 damage. Let us remove this pesky Vulpix and their only energy from the board. I believe Moltres is the most likely card to come out next, but if it falls, I win the game. So they surely have something plan for this. It is also worth noting, we do need to find another basic here. Magmar with 50 damage plus 30 from Blaine is unfortunately enough for Marumine to go boom. And our opponent concedes after missing the triple energy attachment. Marumine takes them out, and with this, Lightning is done. We are now 5 of the 8 types completed with a 5-game win streak. Our power is truly incomparable. Now, if we are going to be trying to use a cover card, I of course am picking the immersive Mewtwo EX. Behold its grand vision as we prepare for the next game. Launch yourself into the world of the card as we explore the lab in which Mewtwo escapes. And if you look closely, you might just find a hint of Mew in the container as Mewtwo is made from its DNA. Now, we shall resume our battling. Our Psychic-type deck is ready to fire off. And our opponent has not even a single emblem equipped. Do they not have the resources for it? Or have they simply chosen to appear as an ordinary citizen, blending in like the ninjas of feudal Japan? We open, not with a Mewtwo, but with Jinx. We will have to see whether or not this works out for us. It's our move. And we fortunately do have access to a Monster Ball. Let us draw a Mewtwo EX. But that isn't all. We are also, of course, looking for a Ralts so we can begin our ascension to glory. Mewtwo and Ralts both enter the board. And this is the ultimate hand we could ask for. Kirlia and Gardevoir, both ready to evolve from our Ralts. An X speed to retreat this Jinx whenever we desire. And a Sabrina to disrupt our opponent and catch them off guard. Nothing short of a red card shall stop us now. It looks like they are trying to draw additional cards with their promo Meowth from the event. But will they be able to do so? I will attach energy to Jinx, beginning the countdown to their defeat. Then, I shall end my turn with a Kirlia on board. Next turn. Watch as our Jinx inflicts 50 damage to Meowth. With a Giovanni draw, this could be it. Oh, but our opponent knows about the hand scope technology. A red card could be here. But will it? Has gaining the knowledge helped them at all? Or have they only seen into the future a glimpse of their own doom? Gardevoir, enter the board and activate your And while Jinx is preparing to inflict major damage, we too shall be preparing our Mewtwo to defeat all that stand against us. I suppose the potion would have been a good idea, as now, should they evolve into a Gardevoir, they are able to retreat this Meowth and score KO. But are they foolish enough to expose their own Gardevoir like that, giving us access to a Mewtwo ready to defeat them? No, they retreat Meowth and bring in the Gardevoir to power up the Mewtwo. But all this will do is provide even more power to our Jinx's attack. An interesting strategy. No, they have a plan. And with this, they might just be able to turn the game around. An incredible play by my opponent here. What should we do? Should we bring in this Mewtwo and power it up to 3 energy? I believe it is our best chance. We will use our own Sabrina to attempt to slow down the energy required on the opposing Mewtwo just a bit. Even 1 energy is enough to turn this game around. Ralts enters the board. We power up. And we continue to do so with our trance. However, should we KO the Ralts this turn, we lose the game. We have no choice but to end our turn without attacking. Or, I suppose, we could deal the 50. The issue is that should they KO our Mewtwo with their own 150 damage Psycho Drive, they win the game. And with an X speed, unfortunately, the battle of Mewtwo versus Mewtwo will bring an end to our glorious win streak. It appears the opponent managed to make a wonderful move to turn the game around. And it all hinged on me forgetting to play down the potion. With just a little bit of additional health, our Jinx would have survived the attack and been able to soften up that Mewtwo, allowing us to win the game. In the future, I suppose I shall have to be a little bit more careful. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer, and after 5 successful bouts in a row, I perhaps let it get to me. Let us see what this Pikachu player has in store for us, and whether or not we will be able to once again assemble the pieces of success. Jinx is here, but no Ralts and no Mewtwo. And of course, the Pikachu icon uses the Crown Rare Pikachu EX. They must be proud of themselves for having such a rare card. But the rarity is not necessarily what makes power. We shall try charging up our own suite of Pokémon. In comes 2 Monster Balls, granting us Ralts and Jinx. Then, we must attach an energy here. But that is all we shall do this turn. The Sabrina does not appear to be that useful. We want to make sure we are weakening the opposing Pikachu EX as much as we can. Though it appears the Jinx may not be all that helpful. We would much rather be staring at a Mewtwo in the active. Oh, they attempt the same tricks we bring to the table, but that Sabrina shall not slow us down. Curlia enters the battlefield. And then Jinx is powered up. And we don't need to stop there, for we have access to an X speed, allowing our active Pokemon to retreat for free. And that is 50 damage to Pikachu. Should we draw into a Gardevoir next turn, we are still able to deal the 70 damage required to knock out this Pikachu and turn the game around. It is a 1 in 11 chance, but it is a chance we are willing to take. The other Pikachu EX appears on the board, but unfortunately a potion brings this Pikachu beyond range of our humble Jinx. What to do? Our only option is to hope for a powerful draw. Red card is not going to be it, so we shall concede. I hadn't expected the psychic types to be the ones to pose us a problem. To win on the first try, with our non-EX decks, like Lightning and Dragon, seem to be a blessing from the divine. Is that hit protagonist, Yuma, from the legendary series Yu-Gi-Oh! Zale? Are they any good at non-Yu-Gi-Oh! Games? Let's find out. Once again, opening the double Jinx. And as we are going second, I am going to place the other one down to avoid a red card. The darkness type is the psychic's weakness, but will we be able to overcome it? Only one way to find out. A Nidoron. Alongside the Coughing, you would think that Nidoking would be paired with its queen, but with the power of Koga, I can see what they are going for. Mewtwo and Ralts successfully round out our collection. Now, let us draw additional cards and see what we are working with. Curlia and Gardevoir, an immaculate combo. We end turn. And it looks like they are going to evolve into the Weezing here. With 50 damage from the attack, and a little bit more from the poison. We are going to survive this turn, but do we spend the resources to attack the Weezing? 50 and 50 is not going to be enough for a KO, leaving us in a bit of a predicament. A Giovanni would be a wonderful draw to bless our screen, but look at this. They do not even elect to bring in an energy on the Weezing, instead powering up the mighty Nidoking from the back. Let us do our best to knock down Weezing's health for our Mewtwo to claim victory in the future. Out of the decks we have so far, I think Dragonite is certainly an interesting one. Unfortunately, it isn't one I have fully completed myself. So, out of the decks I've been able to build, Starmie EX with 5 copies in the collection is certainly a winning idea. It is fast and powerful. Certainly everything one would hope for from a basic deck. Alternatively, Venusaur's tank and comeback mechanics are quite interesting to me as well. Let us bring in Jinx, as our opponent has foolishly attached 2 different energy cards onto this Nidorino. We need not play the Sakaki, as it would not secure a KO. But now, we should be able to start preparing the wonderful Mewtwo EX. We see a Nidoking come onto the board, and will it be fast enough? Unfortunately, there is only a single point left, and we have claimed not. With 110 damage, things are looking down. But perhaps clever play can still seize victory for us. Swing with this. And of course, with only 30 health remaining, Mewtwo must retreat here. But with another Mewtwo EX off the top of the deck, I would not count us out quite yet, for we can play 2 copies of the X speed card, allowing Mewtwo EX to retreat for free. And here comes our real, true Mewtwo EX. Powered up with both our energy attachment and this, and we should be good to go. With only 50 health left, that Nidoking is down for the count. And with this, our Gardevoir is in position to provide infinite energy acceleration every turn. A new Psycho Drive will be appearing. A Pokeball, no basic, shall turn the tides of this battle. 150 damage is far too much for them to overcome. And the TCG pairing the poison types with the dark type, I believe, is a good idea. We do not need 18 different resource cards. It would likely be a little bit too problematic. Now, let us recover health on our Mewtwo. And then, 150 damage. Wiping out a Weezing. They only have 1 more turn to find a way to win this game, as our Psycho Drive will strike true once more. And our Psychic types managed to do it. Only 2 types remain in the challenge, right as we reach the hour mark. The only thing that could possibly stop us is the internet. But I refuse to let that happen. All processing power is diverted towards it. Now, probability is at the core of all droids like us and Hyla. And to represent this, we are bringing in a Marowak EX deck. Our goal, to flip heads, playing the odds, and dealing massive damage to our opponent. Alternatively, it seems we have started with Monkey here. Which should provide a little bit of additional power. Fortunately for us, despite Arbok dealing 60 damage, it will not be able to have the energy it needs in time to KO Monkey. Regarding the steel types, there are only 4 of them in the game. So there isn't really enough to build a deck with, as I don't own the Melmetal. I would like to revisit this challenge sometime in the future, using additional techniques such as Wigglytuff EX and a Melmetal, but it is not currently in the cards. We are going to power up this Cubone, and then wait, as our X-Speed will allow Monkey to retreat. Then we shall evolve into Marowak and attach the second energy, before going in for a clean KO with Bone Maron, dealing up to 160 damage should we be fortunate enough. Let us execute the plan. X-Speed. Throwing down. Monkey onto the bench. And now begins the onslaught. Enter RNG manipulation mode. And KO this Wheezing. System failure. But don't count us out, as 80 damage is still considerable. Unfortunately, our opponent may be a master of the ninja arts, ready to Koga and make us try again. Our relentless strings of heads and tails are but the ones and zeros that dictate this game. Surely, with 140 health, our Marowak has the time to push probability in its favor. And with Not-Me, we could even choose to go for a KO on a singular heads flip. But I believe in Gargara. Let us activate a Pokeball to bring forth another basic. Monkey, number 2, onto the bench. A potion shall provide Marowak with additional livelihood. Bonerang, number 2, underway. And another 80 damage, cleanly dealt to the Marowak, leaving it with just 10 health, thanks to a brutal fighting type weakness. Will we be able to score the KO this time? Or shall they play down another Koga? Only one way to find out. And if their Wheezing is indeed vulnerable, perhaps a Monkey could finish it off instead of the Gargara. Both Kogas down. All of their healing depleted. With this, all we need to do is successfully deal the damage. A Primate draw would be exquisite for our strategy here, as it is able to deal a clean 100 points of damage. But a Giovanni could serve us just as well. Let's provide a... That's not the card I meant to click on. I went for the potion. This is the second time today the wrong card has made its way onto the board. But no matter. We shall boomerang this coughing off the board. Goodbye to the first prize of the game. With 90 health, even with the poison, this Wheezing offers no threat to me. Let us see them try their best. We shall survive the attack, play down Giovanni, and secure our second KO, removing the Wheezing line entirely from their pool of playable cards. With one coughing down, no more evolutions will be appearing. They begin to power up an Arbok, but is that wise? Is it perhaps a bit too late for them? There's only one way to find out. And Professor's research will help seal their fates even further. Another Giovanni. And another Pokeball tossed to the wind to prevent additional draws. Now, without the Sakaki, I actually should retreat here, I believe. Well, perhaps not. I should have not played the Professor's research. The Giovanni was instrumental in getting the KO on Wheezing this turn. And I am now in a bit of an awkward position, where if I do not draw the Primate, I am going to be KO'd by this. However, thinking about it, this Wheezing doesn't have enough firepower to KO the Monkey, so we are fine. Monkey shall take a little bit of damage here, but we shall simply retreat it as though nothing happened. And with a draw of Primate, things are better than ever. Monkey retreats, and our Primate has taken damage, allowing it to inflict additional damage on a swing, and Wheezing player concedes. With this, we are down to our final opponent. So it is time to play the music of the dark. And we shall calm down. Our final deck, the Darkness type. Arbok traps the opponent in the active slot, while Pidgeot forces the opponent to switch it around. With this, we shall attempt to trap our opponent in a pincer attack. But will we be able to do it? Let's find out. Oh, and it appears the timer has been messed up. So we shall repair it immediately. We are going second, typically a good sign for chances at victory. Though a water deck featuring Misty can always turn it around. But we already have Ekans and Arbok available, in addition to a Pokeball, to find something else. They are up first. Monster Ball. What will they be benching? It appears Zapdos EX. Rainbow. Monster Ball is, of course, our first move. And there is the Pidgey. Will we be able to find a Pidgeotto to ensure our strategy goes as planned? Ekans beginning with a simple bite attack. Professor's research allowing them to draw additional cards. As much as I would love to be able to use Pidgeot immediately here, it is not going to be the case, as we don't run Sabrina. But another Ekans is a welcome addition. Let us evolve. and start taking on this Pikachu. With 5 cards in hand, I feel tempted to play down the red card as a Giovanni spells Doom for Arbok, and if they had more basics, they surely would have played them, meaning their hand is full of items and supporters. But can they deal with this? Pikachu EX is trapped in the active and only has 40 health remaining. If we pick up this KO, we are golden. I will sacrifice our other Ekans for this cause. Pidgey is a crucial part of the strategy, and I would much rather let this Ekans fall. Personally, I think that was a huge mistake from our opponent, as now our Arbok will KO Pikachu at full health. Had they simply chosen to deal 90 damage, they would be in a much stronger position. There is no need to play the Giovanni here, so I shall swing normally. With only 10 HP remaining, our Arbok going down would have led to a disastrous position for our board state. But thanks to their own Sabrina, we are going to have an extremely healthy Arbok, and this Zapdos is locked in the ring with us. There is nothing they can do now. Pidgeotto onto the board and charged with energy. Let us trap this Zapdos. With 70 health remaining, our Pidgeot is a guaranteed KO, barring a potion. Pikachu has fallen. Behold, as Arbok is empowered by the one and only Giovanni to take out another Pokemon, and that does it. We have claimed dominance with all 8 types in the game right now. Perhaps someday, metals will receive more support, or we will build a colorless deck as well. But for now, count this as an assertion of the Crimson Shadow's dominance. First, Pokemon Pocket shall fall, and my power shall expand into other games as well. This is not the last you shall see of me. Thank you all for coming in to see the dominance, and I will